Hello and welcome back yet again to another morning with Onyx. We won't be back with Beryl for about two more of these videos because we are in the Horde Zone still. Today we are going to be exploring Eversong Woods and the Blood Elf starting area with Onyx. And I thought what I would do is start off with a little cutscene, which is the cutscene that kind of explains the whole Blood Elf backstory. And yeah, I figured that that would be a good way to start this, so that's what we're gonna do. As you can see, we have to load into it, but yeah, we're gonna start with a little cutscene, if it ever loads.
Within the eternal land of Quel'Thalas. The Blood Elves, following the will of their crazed leader Kael'thas Sunstrider, channeled dangerous, chaotic magics to transform their sacred Sunwell into a gateway of unspeakable evil. While Kael'thas and his demonic masters were eventually defeated, a different kind of transformation occurred within the Sunwell itself, as a dying Naru sacrificed its life essence to reignite the Sunwell into a fount of holy energy. Now, the Blood Elf regent Lorthamar Theron sees a new hope on the horizon for his people. Over time, the Sunwell's light could cure the Blood Elves of their cursed state, but many still cling to the arcane powers they've procured and are hesitant to relinquish them. As one of the remaining Blood Elves, you must fight to protect Quel'Thalas and help redeem the soul of your ancient people.
Now, if you start as a brand new Blood Elf, the place that you will usually start, although there is a new starter zone with all of the new expansions, but the traditional place that you will start is here on Sunstrider Isle. It's, as you can see, just a very, very pretty place, and you will quest here if you're doing this the traditional way until you hit about level 10, and then you'll move on into Eversong Woods. Now, there isn't a whole lot notable here on the island itself, just a lot of, very beautiful Blood Elf architecture. You've got, just like in most of the Blood Elf areas, a lot of magical things. You've got these little mana worms, which you learn how to basically kind of like suck the juice out of them, suck the magic out of them, and that helps power all of your spells and things, especially if you're a spellcaster. You got these cute little, this is what I need in my life, honestly. These magical brooms, which give you a very much Sorcerer's Apprentice type vibe. And really there's only one thing over here that is sort of note, and that is there is a shrine over here to one of the Blood Elf fallen heroes. I'm pretty sure that there's a quest that sends you here, so you end up seeing it pretty much no matter what, unless you just take off and don't do the questing here. But yes, it's the Shrine of Dath Ramar. You have discovered the location of the shrine. Upon further examination, you sense a stronger pulse of the strange power that has gripped the isle. You feel a bit uncomfortable standing by the shrine, perhaps a little disturbed. The bronze placard along the side of the shrine reads, "Here stands the shrine of Dath Ramar," a fitting tribute to a noble elf. Let all who gaze upon this monument remember his sacrifices for our people and his dedication to the cause of our continued survival. all who prosper in Kel'Thalas do so, thanks to him. I can't remember if he is actually who you have to kill as the sort of final little bit on Sunstrider Isle. But I do know that you do have to kill a fallen Blood Elf up here at the top of this tower, so let's run up there and take a look. I can't really remember if it's him or not. It might be. Now, as you're questing along, here you do find out that there are 2 starting zones. The Blood Elf starting zone and the starting zone for the Draenei, which were also added with this expansion, which was Burning Crusade. And in both of those zones, you can't fly, which is sort of a bummer, but I guess it's also because they didn't quite finish this. No, this is Valendrin the Banished. I do know that this is the final quest in this zone, is to kill him and bring back his head. So yeah, fun times. And I'm going to try not to fall off the edge of this. That is something that you can do and land in the water, but I usually manage to, when I'm doing that and trying to get the achievement for falling, I think it's 65 yards without dying, I usually always manage to somehow not land in the water and kill my character. Because just like real life me, my character is not always the most graceful. Actually, I think usually my characters have a lot more grace than I do in real life. But after anywhere between 5 and 10 levels, you're going to exit Sunstrider Isle and head towards Silvermoon City. And you get a lot of quests here. You know, you can go and pick up quests, and basically what you're going to be doing in this beginning part is killing a lot of the Wretched, which are the Blood Elves who have fallen to their mana addiction. So, you see a lot of them going along here, along Dawning Lane. Now, again, not to harp so much on the role-playing aspect, but in the backstory that I made up for Beryl and Onyx and the rest of their family, they actually grew up right here in this house on the outskirts of Silvermoon City. And yeah, obviously they don't live there anymore because it's being overrun by arcane patrollers and wretched urchins here along Sulking Row. But you just keep on trucking, and you're gonna come up to Falcon Wing Square, which is the first major questing hub in the Blood Elf starting area. Well, not starting area, but the sort of secondary area that guides you towards the next zone. That's one of the things about World of Warcraft, is if you let it, it sort of guides you through, and you do end up missing a decent amount of stuff if you just do their guided tour, and that's why I always like to just kind of poke around. There's not a lot to poke around in this area. I was doing a little bit of extra poking last night. Didn't really find a whole heck of a lot. But as you can see, the Wretched can still speak, but they are in a sad state of affairs. Gotta feel bad for them. But as a World of Warcraft character, you always also get to kill a lot of them. Now this guy right here, Jarson Everlong, can sell you a bunch of really cute little dragon pets and things like that. Just a golden dragon hawk hatchling.
Stay the
But
course.
if you would like a few extra pets, you just have to trot on over to Fairbreeze Village, which we will get to here in a little while. Now, as you're going through Eversong Woods, if you hang a left and just run along here, probably avoiding the Dead Scar, which is where there's a bunch of zombies and walking skeletons, which I remember back in the classic days getting killed by these guys a lot. But if you hug close to the ruins of Silvermoon City, you will come to Silvermoon City proper, which is a good spot to go as a new character, just to sort of get all of your training in. Now, this first little area here, you can learn to skin and do leather working, or you can just keep on running. And you can learn pretty much anything else that you want to learn inside the city itself. Now, this guy is actually kind of fun. He is just a random drunk who lays around outside of Silvermoon City. It's Jerome.
What business
And
have
if you wake him up, he wants to know if you want to hear some of his rhymes. Now, of course you do. I mean, who doesn't? So, Jerome's rhymes, walking down the street, looking at my feet, watching the leaves fall off of the trees. Jerome has got some sick beats.
Hold your head
high.
high.
Say no.
Victory lies ahead. Time is of the essence.
He just lets you go. And he wanders around and periodically just kind of falls asleep. So, another thing, if you run up here, this is where you learn to mount up and ride once you are leveled up enough, is right here at Thuron's Livery. It's also where you can purchase the Hawkstriders, which are the traditional mount of the Blood Elves. And they're kind of pretty. They honestly, I don't know which came first. I know a lot of people say that they look a little bit like the Chocobos from Final Fantasy. Not really sure which ones came first, but I'm sure one of them did. Couple other things here in Eversong Woods. Like I said, there's not a heck of a lot in Eversong Woods that's anything that's really necessarily hidden. You've got another vendor over here for enchanting, so if your character is an enchanter. And you have this Instructor Anathol. Now, he's kind of funny. He is actually attached to a quest, and on that quest you have to find and discipline a couple of his students who are off playing hooky. And at the end of it, you end up turning one of his apprentices, I do believe, into a hog. And that's just sort of a fun little quest. Another fun little quest, kind of fun anyway, that you end up doing if you go through the Blood Elf starting area is this quest over here at the North Sanctum. And this dwarf, who seems like a nice dwarf, and he's supposed to be an emissary from the dwarves, is actually a spy and a traitor. And you end up killing him and chopping off his head. There's a lot of chopping off of heads in your beginning. Now this is Apprentice Raleen. He is one of them that you turn into a hog. And his partner in crime is down here by the bridge, and you also turn this guy into, I'm pretty sure it's a pig that you turn them into, but that is Apprentice Melidor. Other things up in this area. My voice is cracking, that's always exciting, isn't it? Is over here, you can go to the West Sanctum, which is right over here, and there's, as always, a few quests, and this person seems to have, he seems to be having some issues. Yeah, he's definitely having issues. I'm glad I actually was recording. Well, alrighty then. But yeah, over here in the Sanctum, you can go over here and get a few more quests. You know, your basic RPG type stuff. I think the thing I like the most about Eversong Woods is, well, number one, just the music of it. It's a very soothing music, even with the zombies and the skeletons everywhere. But also just, I mean, look at it, it's kind of beautiful. You can definitely see all of that Blood Elf refinement going through here. Now, over here at the West Sanctum, they have a little bit of an issue with mana stalkers and some mana wraiths. And you kind of just have to clean them up as your quest. Now, one other thing that I never actually noticed before, kill that guy, is, well, not so much in here, but a lot of these, before I knew what Blood Elf beds actually looked like, I never thought that there were actually that many houses in the Blood Elf areas. Now that I realize that the beds are those nifty little circular curtain things, it definitely opens up a whole new world of, I guess you could say, housing possibilities, since World of Warcraft still has not put player housing in. Maybe someday, but I am definitely not holding my breath for it. Now we're going to run over here to Fairbreeze Village, which is one of your first little villages outside of Silvermoon City itself, and it's another questing hub. The only thing really notable in Eversong Village, or Fairbreeze Village, good job, mate, is if you go over here, there is a questing area that a lot of people skip, but it's kind of fun. It's just a bunch of fetch and carry quests, but once you finish the quests, you get an ongoing invitation to the Blood Elf Party of the Century. Now, Onyx hasn't actually done these quests, but you go in here and you just talk to Lord Salthoril. I can speak, I really can, I promise. Just not well. But you talk to him and he sends you off on a bunch of fetch and carry quests. And a lot of it has to do with getting enough wine to get his companion here just a little bit tipsy. She seems to find him attractive, but not quite attractive enough. But yeah, this right here is a Blood Elf bed. And now that I know what they look like, I can't decide if I think that they would be comfortable or not. But once you do all the quests for old Lord S over there, all of these partygoers stop being so rude to you.
Glory to the Sindorai.
Because right now, all they say are things like, sorry, I don't speak with the help.
We will
wits about
persevere.
I think all the men say, sorry, I don't speak with the help.
The dark
We
times
will have
pass.
justice.
Look like they're all just
We
gonna say
will
that.
have justice. Baladash Malanore.
They're a
Salama
little snobby.
Ashalanore.
That does seem to be a Blood Elf trait. Alright, looking around. The only other things to really kind of check out in Eversong Woods is there's one area where all is not well, and we're gonna head that way now. Well, I mean, I guess there's a lot of areas where all is not well. Despite how beautiful it looks, there are a lot of problems still in the Blood Elf starting zone. Just like with any RPG, there's a lot of problems and everybody seems to want you to fix them. That's kind of typical RPG stuff. But, I mean, as you can definitely see, the biggest problem that they have is this giant scar that goes all the way to the city. And there's a big, long, convoluted backstory about that I am not going to go into right now. But, as with every other race in World of Warcraft, it's quite tragic. But the biggest problem is that one of these, the East Sanctum, is right in the middle of it, And these sanctums and the rune stones that are attached to them are kind of what's holding all of the magic here and keeping it from becoming corrupted, kind of like the Dead Scar is. So you've got to deal with all of that. They also have a bit of a troll problem, which we will head over that way before we leave everything at the beginning of the next section, which we will talk about next week, which is the Ghostlands. But there's a few other things to check out over here. One of those is up straight ahead, and that is the Farce Rider Retreat. That is where the Farce Riders, which are sort of like rangers and hunters, so definitely something Onyx is at home with, are here, and they give you a bunch more quests. It's just another questing hub. But one of the quests will send you over here to the Duskwither Spire. And it's kind of a neat little thing. Just a neat little area, and it did actually let me find something interesting, which sort of made me upset last night. And that's the fact that World of Warcraft developers seem to have put a giant invisible wall that I don't remember being there before. Not that you could actually get to the island that you can see off the shore of the Duskwither grounds, but I killed many a character trying to get to it. So yeah, I was just sort of running around over here, seeing if there was anything on the shore. And again, sorry about the weird skybox. I'm still not sure what on earth is up with that. And I keep meaning to check into it, and I keep forgetting. But if you look straight ahead up here where the mouse is, you can kind of see that there is something offshore. And I used to try and get to it, and I would usually die before getting there. But you can get kind of close, and what it actually is the island of Kel'Thalas, which is another area. But yeah, if you look, I can't go there now. I tried swimming underwater to see if I could go under the skybox. I tried everything that I could, and yeah, you just can't go there anymore. Not that you could actually go there before, but you could at least kill your character trying to get there. It was a lot of fun. And I always thought maybe if I got a fast enough character that maybe one day I could make it there just running. I guess not. But yeah, you've got another handful of quests over here, trying to figure out what's on with the Duskwither grounds. I don't remember the culmination of that quest chain. It's been a long time since I've done an entire Blood Elf starting area. Because despite the fact that it's beautiful, a lot of times on horde characters I end up just running to Undercity because it's got a lot more population to it. Kind of the story, the sad story of World of Warcraft. A lot of the really pretty, cool areas are underutilized because nobody's ever in them. But yeah, we will go past the Farce Rider Retreat and go over here to Torawatha, which is a troll area, which when I was doing some research on this area and seeing if there were any secrets that I could ferret out online, I did find out that there used to be a raid entrance back here where the mountains are, and people used to be able to glitch through and actually enter the raid that way, but again, the developers found out about it and patched it and put in all of these big mountains that you can't glitch through anymore. Darn. Glitching through things sometimes is a lot of fun. But yeah, you've got a lot of enemy trolls trolls and blood elves don't ever seem to have gotten along. And kind of like oil and water, they just keep striking sparks with each other and are always warring with each other. But this does also give you our first look at troll architecture. A lot of tusks. Definitely a lot of tusks. Now we're going to go to one more spot, which is the Scorched Grove and the Gold Coast. And that will complete all of Eversong Woods. And then, like I said, next week we will stick with Onyx and do a little exploring of the Ghostlands. And then we'll be back with Beryl and just keep on moving on down. Now, I did decide that anytime we're in an area that has a starter zone for a race, I will try to remember to show you the cutscene like I did at the first of this one that explains that race's backstory at least a little bit. Because, wow, one thing World of Warcraft does, and I think does extraordinarily well, is their cutscenes. I don't know if everybody feels that way, but I think they do a good job. Some people complain about the cartooniness, I guess you would say, of World of Warcraft, but honestly, I've always kind of enjoyed that about it. Games that are too realistic are never quite realistic enough, so you end up with that whole uncanny valley thing. And in World of Warcraft, you never really end up with the uncanny valley because everything is just cartoon enough that it's not quite unsettling like some other games I've played. I keep going way far beyond where I need to go. Alright, well, I'm going to pause this video and I will join you down in the next area. So one good thing about getting lost and doing loop-de-loops is I remembered something that I did want to show you. And that is something that maybe not everybody knows, but if you would like to buy some more of the cute little dragon hawks, you can go into Jelane's house here in Fairbreeze Village.
Our enemies will
and
fall.
she has a golden, a silver, and a red dragon hawk that you can buy. And that way you can have
Be ready for anything.
basically all of them, because World of Warcraft has its own little kind of Pokemon game that is a lot of fun, and just like Pokemon, you gotta catch them all. And I have caught not all of them, but a lot. Alright, we're gonna keep on trucking along here, and that way we can go to the last couple areas now that I am no longer lost. You would think with a giant map that you wouldn't be able to get lost, but I can usually get lost. But we are coming up on a really neat little anchorage area where you can run down here and play on a ship and pretend to be a pirate for a few minutes. You can also see coming up ahead one of the rune stones. Your goal is to recharge and re-energize these rune stones to help keep this beautiful forest alive for a little while longer. Now right up here in Eversong Woods you can enter the Scorch Grove, which the Blood Elves actually had to burn themselves because it was corrupted. One of those tragedies there. And this runestone here, you can see, is also a little bit corrupted. As you're trucking along, what else can we go to? You can see the Ghostlands up ahead, and that is our next zone that we'll be going to next week. But right up ahead, I think, is the Gold Coast, which is infested with murlocs, Murlocs are an interesting, silly little race in World of Warcraft. They're sort of like tadpole people. Only tadpole people that try to chew your face off. You just run here, and again, there's more quests up in this area. Not that many, though. I'm gonna feel so stupid if I... No, there they are. I was like, I'm gonna feel so stupid if I'm remembering wrong, and this is not where the Murloc area is, but it is. Good. And then just go one more spot. Yeah, here's the Murlocs. And the best part about Murlocs, and I don't see any in this area, are baby Murlocs, because baby Murlocs are adorable, and they are one of the things you can actually get as a pet in this game, and they're really, really cute. In fact, when we get up to Northrend, I will probably try and show, if I remember, an area where you can get sort of a secret pet. You can only get one per account in World of Warcraft, but it is the cutest little baby Murloc, and he's white, and his name is, I think, Blinky, and he's very, very cute. Alright, just gotta make it to Sail Anchorage, which I do believe, hopefully, I didn't miss. But yeah. Anyway, I will meet you at Sail Anchorage once we get there, because you probably are getting tired of watching me run around in circles. So boy am I glad that I paused and just ran here without dragging you guys along with me, because this was a lot further away than I remembered. But this is our last little area before we go over to the entryway to the Ghostlands, and that is the Sail Anchorage. As you can see, there's a whole lot of wretched that are out here, and a lot of spiffy little boats that you have to get things off of. Again, it's a questing area. Now, one thing that's really kind of sad about these boats is there really isn't much on them. Later on, there is an area in the Beryl area that has got the coolest boat that it's a fully stocked, fully functional, well, not functional as in you can drive it, but a fully stocked boat, and it's empty of anything. I think it might be a questing zone for Horde players, but if you're an Alliance player, it is just a perfect, big, awesome boat, and it's a lot of fun to poke around in. Not exactly sure why it's there, but, you know, I'm happy that it is because it's really cool. It's also right on top of one of the underground or underwater bars that are out in that zone that we will go and see when we get to that area, because I've found, I think, 8 underwater bars around Beryl, and they're all different. They're all really cool. And they're one of those things that you don't really find unless you're just kind of doing like I do and just poking around. Now, leaving Fairbreeze Village, which we're approaching it yet again, I feel like we just keep doing loop-de-loops around Fairbreeze Village, but once you're done in the Blood Elf starting area and you've done all of the quests that you either can do or that you care to do, your next thing that you're going to do is make your way towards the Ghostlands, and that is where we are going to leave it for today. I'm going to show you the quest giver that leads you into the Ghostlands. It's kind of a fun little quest too, honestly. It's an undead woman who is trying to cure a blood elf that she has found, and she seems quite smitten with him. which always makes me chuckle a little bit as I am going through the game. But just crossing the Dead Scar one last time as we approach the Ghostlands. And definitely sorry that there aren't more cool houses to poke around in. But you come right up here and you meet this poor guy, Courier Dawnstrider, and Apothecary Thedra. And her whole thing is she really wants to cure this poor guy. She thinks we can save his life, though. So
do not seek
that
death.
is where we are going to leave it this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I wish that there was a little bit more, like, secret stuff that I could have shown you here. I did a lot of poking. I didn't find anything that I didn't know about. But, as always, if you know of anything I missed, drop it into the comments down below. I'm definitely thinking anything that I miss, I will probably do a recap before I leave the Eastern Kingdoms and just do an all the things I missed video. So if you know of any secret things or just really cool things that I missed as we were running through Eversong Woods, drop it into the comments. While you're down there, you know, maybe if you want to, go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Leave me a like, it always makes me smile, and I will see you next week, again with Onyx, as we explore the Ghostlands. Have a great night.